physics automatically turns on collision. Now let's have a look at these options in a bit more detail. We'll start with occlusion. So on the left, without occlusion, you can see that the bug is always visible. On the right, with occlusion, the bug is hidden behind the tree. So you can see how occlusion helps with realism by hiding virtual objects behind real ones. On the left, without receives lighting, the bug looks like it's floating because of the lack of shadows. And now on the right, with receives lighting, the bug casts a shadow and looks grounded. Previously for AR experiences, you were just limited to using planes or various primitives to represent your world. This is unrealistic because the real world doesn't conform to these shapes. Now, because of scene understanding physics, you can see that when the bug disintegrates, the small pieces bounce off the steps and scatter all around. And fourth, the mesh is an approximation of the real world. While the occlusion mask is very accurate, the mesh for physics is less so. As a result, don't expect the mesh to have super crisp edges, as you can see in the image on the right. So let's recap. Let's see how we use the two use cases in our experience. We'll start by looking at raycasting. You can see how the bug stays on the tree and finds different points to visit. Raycasting allows us to keep the bug on the tree by raycasting from the body towards the tree to find the closest contact point. And raycasting is also used to find different points for the bug to visit. And let's look at the next case, collision events. By using collision events, we were able to detect when the bug is tossed and hits the real world. When it does, we make it disintegrate. So now that we've seen these two use cases and how they helped build the experience, we've added the ability to visualize the mesh. Let's take a look. Here you can see a video with the debug mesh visualization turned on. This shows us the raw, real-world mesh. The mesh is color-coded by the distance away from the camera. You can also see how this mesh is constantly updating, and the reconstructed mesh is an approximation of the real world. You can see how the mesh is not crisp at the edges of the stairs. To enable this visualization, add the .show scene understanding option into the AR View's debug options. The colors you saw in the video are color-coded using the chart below. You can see that the color varies by distance, and past 5 meters, everything is colored white. And it's important to note that this option shows you the raw real-world mesh. If you want to see the physics mesh, then you just turn on the regular physics debug view that's already available.